Story 1. My fiance's mother stole our new baby's decorations and gifts right off her front porch. My fiance's mother is a single parent who is way too attached to him. She seems to think she should be a part of every single aspect of his life and that she should always come first, no matter the situation. A perfect example of this. When we got engaged, she was absolutely livid because we didn't visit her first after the proposal. We made a quick stop at my parents' house to show them the ring. And when we finally went to hers, she was so angry that she ended up throwing a cake at us in her driveway. She's made my life miserable ever since we got together, but it's gotten much worse since I got pregnant. She's tried multiple times to convince my fiancé to leave me, insisting that I'm not carrying his baby. Her evidence for this: I was too fat to be pregnant, so I must be lying about my due date. This is just one of the many ways she's tried to hurt and embarrass me. We've limited contact with her because of all this, but somehow she always finds a way to wiggle back in. Last week, I gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. Unfortunately, due to a full COVID lockdown in our area, neither of our families could visit the hospital, and we weren't expecting in-person visits for a while. My parents had planned to decorate the front of our house to welcome the baby home, and my mom said she had ordered some things from Etsy for the occasion. When I got home, I was surprised to find that there were no decorations outside. I didn't think much of it at first, assuming my family just ran out of time. It wasn't like them to forget something like that, so I figured there must have been a good reason. Later, my mom called to ask how I liked the decorations and presents. I was confused and told her that there was nothing outside when I arrived. She then texted me pictures of my house, fully decorated with pink baby gear. I noticed several wrapped gifts on the porch in the photos. However, they were all missing when I got home, along with a large banner, balloon arrangements, and a ton of other decorations. My mom told me one of the gifts contained a sweater my grandma had knitted for me when I was a baby, something I had been looking forward to receiving and passing on to my daughter. I was completely baffled. We live in a rural area, so porch pirates aren't exactly common. I asked my fiancé to check our security camera footage, and what we saw was jaw-dropping. It was his mother taking down the decorations and putting everything into her car. The footage was crystal clear, and you could easily make out her license plate. My fiancé was absolutely furious and immediately called his mom. She tried to deny it at first, but eventually she admitted what she'd done. Her excuse? She was upset that she wasn't given the chance to decorate our house herself. She claimed my family had insulted her by excluding her from the whole thing. Then, she started crying about how terrible we were to her. My fiancé wasn't having any of it. He told her she had 1 hour to return everything to our house or he'd call the police. Her response? She laughed and said she had already thrown everything into a donation bin and good luck finding it. Since then, my fiancé has driven around to several donation bins in the area, checking to see if he could find anything, but so far, no luck. At this point, we've both agreed that she will have absolutely no contact with our daughter in the future. I'm done. Completely done. I just hope this is the last of it and that she finally gets the message. Comment 1. As a few others have said, call the police, file a report. Even if you can't get anything back, even if they decide to not prosecute, it starts a paper trail that can help make getting a restraining order later a lot easier. I would also make a backup of that security footage and put it somewhere safe. I would also consider starting in FooBinder. If MIL is willing to steal decorations and gloat about throwing them away, there's no telling what she could get up to. Separately, this is also very telling as to where her priorities lie. The gifts were obviously for your daughter, so in effect, she has no qualms about stealing from her grandchild. You are absolutely correct to keep her out of your child's life. And yours. Comment 2. Call the police. Press charges. If she gets away with murder every time without facing real consequences, she will never stop. Comment 3. Call the cops. File a police report. Get an itemized list of everything. Price included. List the knitted baby sweater as priceless heirloom. This is absolutely disgusting. Send her a final text saying she has 24 hours to locate and retrieve all of the items and send her the itemized list. Tell her if they're not back in your possession in 24 hours, you will be filing a police report and including the footage. Also warned her not to send any flying monkeys your way, for you will provide them with the video footage. Never allow her to meet your daughter. She stole an heirloom sweater from your daughter. Something that can never be replaced. Anyone who is that selfish does not deserve to be called grandma. Story 2. My baby can tell my MIL is weird. I'm so relieved. My baby is almost 6 months old, and he cries his little heart out every time MIL tries to hold him. Honestly, it's a weird vibe between us. My husband's family is what I'd call a low-effort family. There's no real bond. They don't make an effort, and don't even get me started on FIL, who's usually drunk by 10 a.m. My baby is incredibly attached to my parents because they actually spend time with him, unlike MIL, who just uses him to show him off to others. We had a visit at MIL's house recently, and I couldn't be more relieved that we're moving out soon. I know they won't make any effort to visit, not that I care. Even my husband saw how upset and distressed our baby was when MIL was trying to hold him. The poor little guy looked like he was in pain. The moment my husband took him, all the tears stopped. It's honestly comforting knowing my baby can see through her weirdness just like his mom does. It's frustrating to watch her try to hold him while he reaches for me or his dad. I always grab him right away. She also wanted to watch him while we went to the bank, and I flat out said no. There's no way I'm leaving him to cry and feel anxious with her. I can tell she's bothered by this, but honestly, maybe if she hadn't treated me like an incubator during my pregnancy instead of a person, I wouldn't have so much anxiety and stress around her. I've even figured out with my therapist that she's a trigger for my panic attacks and BPD episodes. So, yeah, I don't feel bad for wanting to take my baby back because he clearly doesn't like being around her. It's just validating to know I'm not overreacting. Comment 1. My son was the same. Yelled and hollered if she held him. He was very attached to me and my mom. And my MIL tried to say it's because he doesn't see her enough. My sister happened to be over. My son wasn't even a year old yet, and he loved her holding him. She lived 2 hours away and only saw him a handful of times. Ever since he was a baby, he never cried when she held him. I think it's because she sounds and looks just like me. Even now at 18 years old, he still doesn't like her. Won't go and visit her either. Comment 2. Well, Mayo, that reminds me of the time when my daughter started to babble and talk a bit, mama, yeah, etc. My MIL tried to get my baby to say granny, but she didn't want to. Then, out of blue, she said granny to my mom, and MIL wasn't there. Then she repeated it. Of course, we told that to my MIL, and she was pissed, haha. She tried so hard to get my baby to say granny to her, and she did a few months after she told that to my mom. Story 3. All is forgiven apparently. I thought this was kind of funny, but it also got way out of hand. Basically, Emile almost destroyed my relationship with her constant comments about my parenting, my looks, my personality, my child, you name it. So, when Christmas rolled around, I decided I didn't want to spend it at her place and wanted to stay home with my own family instead. She said she was fine with it until I actually didn't show up to her Christmas dinner. Then she went on to cry to her mother and brother about how awful I was for not attending, and I just ignored it. But things didn't stop there, it got much worse. At the time, her brother, my partner's uncle, was being incredibly inappropriate and creepy toward me. We worked together, and he would constantly talk about his sexual escapades, who he wanted to sleep with at work, and then end it with threats, implying that if I ever told anyone, it would be traced back to me, so I better keep quiet. After the Christmas drama and the fact I'd distanced myself from her creepy brother, both Emile and the uncle went on a rampage about me. I got so fed up, I told Mill I didn't want a relationship with her anymore, so I blocked her. The uncle didn't stop, so I finally reported him at work, and he nearly lost his job over it. A couple of months later, I went to my son's football game, and my second baby was only 2 weeks old at the time. To my surprise, Emile showed up. She never comes to the games. She spent the entire time trying to talk to me, and when I told her I didn't want to engage and needed her to leave me alone, she just wouldn't stop. She kept trying to hug me and kept saying that the way I was acting was so sad and I needed to stop. To top it off, my son started feeling unwell after his game, so we left. Fast forward to yesterday, I went to visit my partner's grandmother. It had been a while since we saw her. During our conversation, she asked about Emile, and I told her that we had fallen out and I no longer communicate with her. Turns out, Emile had been telling everyone that I'd forgiven her and everything's fine now. Her grandmother had company over at the time, and they all looked really confused when I said I still have nothing to do with her and don't plan to. Comment 1. Emile can't handle not being in control. Good job. Comment 2. My in-laws are divorced, and all of a sudden Emile is reaching out to FIL's side of the family to tell them how sad she is that I don't want anything to do with her. I hadn't told anyone, not even my own family, how she treated me because it is between me and her. When other relatives started trying to convince me to forgive her, I would tell them, and if the 100 incidents of her inappropriate and disrespectful behavior, and they go, I can see why you don't want to deal with her. It's just a shame. Yeah, it's a shame she has zero respect for everyone, and everyone just enables her. I don't let her see my child, though. Comment 3. Gosh, I can see why you want nothing to do with them. That's horrendous. My own mother does the same. She wants everything to be all good between us, but it's not because she cares about the relationship. It's because she cares so much about what others think and being exposed for her true behavior. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we will see you in the next video.